All right, joining me is Matt Hasselbeck, longtime NFL QB and current ESPN analyst on NFL Countdown on Sunday mornings. Matt, thanks for taking some time.
Yeah, excited to be here, and I'm excited for this huge matchup this week that you guys have.
No doubt. You guys, and around the NFL, you guys talk about big games in the NFL every week. The NFL has big games every week, some bigger than others. But this one, Ravens, Chiefs, on Monday night, given where these teams have been over the last few years and their quarterbacks, the MVPs, how much bigger does this game feel than any other week?
It feels big everywhere. It feels big at ESPN. You mentioned it. We have the Monday night game, but it feels big at home. I've got a 15-year-old, and what does he care about? Patty Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. They want to have the Oakley visor like they have. They want to wear their wristband and their towels just like those guys. Those guys are the trendsetters. These are the two best quarterbacks in the NFL. If you ask a lot of people, and I know there's, discussion about other guys, but these are two of the most exciting players. And quite honestly, these are two teams that expect Super Bowl this year. And so far, how they've looked the first 2 weeks of the season, it certainly looks like they're on a collision course to see who gets to represent the AFC.
So you talk to coaches and players leading up to any game, and they'll give you kind of the standard answer of every game is important. Every game means the same when you tally them all up at the end of the season. But players have been hinting here in Baltimore, there is a little bit more to this game. They won't go out and say it that it's bigger than the others, but they know. They turn on the TV. They use social media. And inside, they have to know that come the end of the season, if things shake out like we think they are, this game could mean the top seed in the AFC when all things are said and done. When you were a player, were there certain games that really meant more? Maybe you gave the standard answer, or coaches or players on your team gave the standard answer, yeah, this is a big game, but every game's a big game. Were there certain games that meant more to you?
The best teams will say it, just like you're saying, hey, our goal is just to go 1-0 this week. We're just trying to go 1-0 this week. However, the best teams also know we're going to play these guys this week. We know that we will play them again in the playoffs. And there are definitely those matchups that you have. For me in Seattle, it was usually going up against the then St. Louis Rams, that team with the Torrey Holtz and the Kurt Warners and the, all the Isaac Bruces, those great teams. For right now, you're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. You're talking about the Baltimore Ravens. They know goal number one is to win the division. We get that. But goal number two is to make it to the Super Bowl and hoist a Lombardi trophy. And you're not going to be able to do that unless you go through that other team. So for sure, they're not going to say it publicly, but everyone knows, and it doesn't even need to be said. If you want to hoist a Lombardi, you're going to have to beat this team, and you're maybe going to have to do it twice.
Yeah, for the Ravens, they hope they have to do it twice. Marcus Peters saying this week that they were hoping to see the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. That didn't happen. I don't have to expand on that too much for Ravens fans. Lamar and Mahomes, is this the new Brady and Manning? I mean, what do you see from these two stud young quarterbacks already with MVPs under their belt?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue that these aren't the two most exciting and the two most talented quarterbacks. And people will talk a lot about Mahomes' no-look passes and the trick plays, the trick shots, if you will. They'll also talk about Lamar Jackson, the runner outside the pocket and all that kind of stuff. However, if you take away the name, take away the decal on the helmet, and you just study the plays, the tape, these guys are both really excellent rhythm passers from inside the pocket. And so I do think that you're going to see longevity and consistency for years to come out of both of these guys. Sometimes you see quarterbacks just kind of come on the scene and they disrupt things a little bit because of athleticism or because they're good at a certain thing. Both of these quarterbacks, they really are good at everything. And the only thing that could slow them down is maybe themselves just getting complacent. But obviously the way that this season has started, we haven't seen that. The trap was there for them to maybe have a slump, and they didn't take the bait. So to me, yeah, these are the two guys that are going to be playing for a long time.
and probably the next great rivalry everyone can hope. But it's only a rivalry if the Ravens get one, right? So final thing for you. Mahomes and the Chiefs are 2-0 against Lamar and the Ravens. But this defense for Baltimore, there's a lot of new additions since the last time they played the Chiefs. And you're talking about Calais Campbell, Derek Wolfe on the line, the rookie linebackers, Patrick Queen, Malik Harrison, and maybe the biggest game changer of them all, Marcus Peters, who didn't play against the Chiefs when the Ravens faced them early last year. Could these new additions for the Ravens maybe be the difference on Monday night?
Well, they've certainly bolstered their front seven defensively. There's no arguing that. But I kind of think that's not really the problem. Baltimore had everything they needed last year to win the Super Bowl. They were talented enough. They were good enough. Their problem last year is they were not a team that could really come from behind. They were built to play with a lead. If they got up on you by like 10 points, it was over. Like they were closing out the game. Baltimore wins. But in games where they got behind, I'm thinking of the Cleveland game last year. Like when they got behind, they just got out of sync, or even in their playoff game. Like this isn't who they are, who they want to be. And, I've seen some flashes of them fixing some of that stuff. They had a good 2-minute drill early this season already. But I just think that for the Baltimore Ravens to hoist the Lombardi, which is the goal, the area where they're actually going to need to improve on is if they do get down in a game by, say, 14 points, they got to show that they can sort of dig themselves out of that hole, because right now their offense isn't built for that. Ironically, it's maybe one of the most exciting and tough offenses to stop, but it's just not built to come from behind, and we haven't seen that so far.
And we have seen it from the Kansas City Chiefs on almost a weekly basis. So
maybe too much.
Yeah, right. Matt, thanks for joining me, man.
Hey, anytime. Thank you.